Hello everyone and welcome to our channel, The Lecture for Sleep, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of our nightly rest. Today we're going to talk about something that many of us have experienced, either as children or even now as adults: the fear of the dark. Nyctophobia, as it's clinically known, can be a major disruptor of sleep and a source of significant anxiety. So, let's turn on the lights, get comfortable, and explore why we're afraid of the dark and what we can do about it. First off, let's get one thing straight. If you're an adult who's still a bit uneasy when the lights go out, you are not alone. It's far more common than you might think. This fear isn't a sign of weakness. It's deeply rooted in our human history and psychology. Think about it from an evolutionary perspective. For our ancient ancestors, nighttime was genuinely dangerous. Predators were on the prowl, visibility was zero, and the darkness concealed all sorts of potential threats. The people who were cautious and a little fearful of the dark were more likely to stay safe in their caves, survive the night, and pass on their genes. So in a way, that little prickle of fear you feel is an ancient survival instinct kicking in. Your brain is just trying to protect you, even if the biggest threat in your bedroom is tripping over a shoe. But why does this ancient instinct persist so strongly for some of us? A lot of it comes down to our most powerful sense: sight. We humans are incredibly visual creatures. We rely on our eyes to navigate the world, identify dangers, and understand our surroundings. When you plunge a room into darkness, you're essentially turning off your primary information-gathering tool. Your brain, deprived of visual data, can start to fill in the blanks. And it often does so with a creative and sometimes terrifying imagination. That shadow in the corner isn't just a pile of clothes. It suddenly looks like a looming figure. That creak from the floorboards isn't the house settling, it's an intruder. Our minds are excellent storytellers, and in the absence of light, they can spin some pretty scary tales. This is also tied to a fundamental fear of the unknown. We're afraid of what we can't see. The darkness creates a void, and our brains have a tendency to project our worst fears into that void. It becomes a blank canvas for our anxieties. If you're stressed about work, worried about a relationship, or just feeling generally anxious, the dark can amplify those feelings. It removes the distractions of the day and leaves you alone with your thoughts, which can feel overwhelming and frightening. Childhood experiences also play a huge role. Many of us develop a fear of the dark as kids. This is a normal developmental stage. A child's imagination is incredibly vivid, and they're still learning to distinguish between fantasy and reality. A scary movie, a spooky story, or even just an unfamiliar noise can trigger a lasting fear. If this fear wasn't addressed or resolved in childhood, it can easily carry over into adulthood. Maybe you were told to just get over it, which can make you feel ashamed and suppress the fear rather than dealing with it. As adults, we might feel embarrassed to admit we're still scared, which only isolates us further and prevents us from seeking solutions. So how does this fear specifically impact our sleep? The connection is pretty direct. When you're afraid, your body goes into fight or flight mode. Your brain releases stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes shallow, and your muscles tense up. This is the absolute opposite of the relaxed state you need to be in to fall asleep. Instead of winding down, your body is on high alert, ready for danger. This can lead to difficulty falling asleep, frequent awakenings during the night, and a general feeling of not being rested in the morning. It becomes a vicious cycle. You're scared of the dark, so you can't sleep. And because you're sleep deprived, your anxiety and fear can become even worse the next night. Lack of sleep can make our emotional regulation go haywire, making us more susceptible to fear and panic. The good news is, you don't have to live with this fear forever. There are many practical, effective strategies you can use to reclaim your nights and get the restful sleep you deserve. Let's break down some of the best approaches. First, let's talk about managing your light environment. The solution isn't necessarily to sleep with all the lights on. Bright light can interfere with your body's production of melatonin, the hormone that tells your brain it's time to sleep. The goal is to find a happy medium. A dim nightlight can be a great tool. Choose one with a warm, reddish or amber tone, as this type of light is less disruptive to your sleep cycle than blue or white light. The idea is to provide just enough light to reassure your brain that the room is safe and familiar, without tricking it into thinking it's daytime. You could also try hallway lights with the bedroom door slightly ajar. Experiment to find what level of dim light makes you feel comfortable and secure. Next, focus on creating a sanctuary in your bedroom. Your bedroom should be a place of peace and relaxation, not a source of anxiety. Start by decluttering. That pile of clothes we mentioned earlier, put it away. A tidy, organized space gives your imagination fewer things to work with. Make your bed with comfortable linens, maybe add a weighted blanket, which many people find incredibly calming, as it provides gentle, reassuring pressure. The goal is to build positive associations with your bedroom. It should feel like your safe haven. Let's also talk about sound. Just as your brain can misinterpret shadows, it can also misinterpret sounds. An unfamiliar creak can be very unsettling. Using a white noise machine, a fan, or an app that plays calming sounds like rain or ocean waves can be a game changer. This consistent, predictable sound masks those sudden, startling noises, creating a stable and soothing auditory environment. It tells your brain that everything is okay and helps lull you into a state of relaxation. Developing a relaxing bedtime routine is absolutely crucial. You need to signal to your body and mind that it's time to wind down. About an hour before you plan to sleep, turn off bright screens, your phone, your tablet, your TV. The blue light from these devices messes with your melatonin. Instead, do something calming. Read a book, a real paper book, not on a screen. Listen to a relaxing podcast or some gentle music. Take a warm bath or shower. The drop in body temperature after you get out helps trigger sleepiness. You could also practice some light stretching or meditation. There are fantastic guided meditation apps, specifically designed to ease anxiety and promote sleep. The key is consistency. When you do the same relaxing things in the same order every night, your body learns the cues and starts to anticipate sleep. Now let's get into some cognitive techniques. This is about changing the way you think about the dark. One powerful method is called cognitive reframing. When you find yourself lying in bed and your mind starts to spiral, consciously challenge those fearful thoughts. Ask yourself, what am I actually afraid of? Is there any real evidence that there's a threat? Remind yourself that the sounds you hear are just the house settling, and the shadows are just familiar objects. You can even create a mantra to repeat to yourself something like, I am safe in my room. This is my space. I am in control. It might feel silly at first, but with practice, you can retrain your brain's automatic fear response. Another technique is gradual exposure. This is something that's often done with the help of a therapist, but you can try a gentle version on your own. The idea is to slowly and safely increase your tolerance for darkness. Start by sitting in a dimly lit room for a few minutes each evening, practicing deep breathing exercises. Over several days or weeks, you can gradually decrease the amount of light. The goal is not to traumatize yourself, but to teach your nervous system, step by step, that darkness does not equal danger. Always do this at your own pace and stop if you feel overwhelmed. If your fear of the dark is severe, causing panic attacks or significantly impacting your daily life and mental health, it is so important to seek professional help. There's absolutely no shame in it. A therapist can help you explore the root causes of your fear and guide you through evidence-based treatments like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. CBT is highly effective for anxiety and phobias, as it helps you identify and change the negative thought patterns and behaviors that fuel your fear. Remember, taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health. Help is available, and you deserve to feel safe and sleep peacefully. So to recap, your fear of the dark is a normal, ancient instinct that sometimes gets a little carried away. You can manage it by optimizing your light environment with a dim, warm nightlight, creating a safe and relaxing bedroom sanctuary, using white noise to mask startling sounds, and establishing a consistent, calming bedtime routine. You can also work on retraining your brain by challenging fearful thoughts and practicing gradual exposure to the dark. And most importantly, be kind to yourself through this process. Change doesn't happen overnight. There will be good nights and not so good nights, and that's okay. Every small step you take is a victory. By understanding the fear and using these strategies, you can take back control. Transform your relationship with the night and finally get the deep, restorative sleep you need and deserve. Thank you so much for joining me on the lecture for sleep today. I hope you found this helpful. If you have any of your own tips for conquering the fear of the dark, please share them in the comments below. Let's help each other out. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights into the world of sleep. Sweet dreams, and see you next time.